All right. Comrade Ajaero, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello, Comrade Ajaero. Can you hear me? Are you there?
I'm hearing them at the studio where she was talking about. Yeah. Okay. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, this is TVC Lagos. Yeah? Yeah, Comrade, let's quickly go there. You know, the meeting with Mr. President ended not too long ago, and you are continuing next week. Can you tell us something? What can you tell us?
Well, you know, like you actually captured it, we are continuing next week. We had some fruitful deliberation with Mr. President, where he tried to explain the situation in terms of revenue. You know, dwelt a lot on the subsidy removal and Nigerians not paying enough on energy, and the cost they are selling in some West African countries, Cameroon saying about 2,000 and others, and we took all those comments and explained to him what Nigerian workers are passing through. The inflation is talking of that they are the worst hit, and then comparatively, you know, what Nigerians were earning in the 80s and currently in Naira terms. You know, we put all those, we equally have a little understanding on the frequency of the review. You know, he didn't have any objection on review of minimum wage for 2 years or 3 years, since we can't sentence the whole workers to another long review period based on the way things are happening. So on the basis of that, you know, we agreed to meet again by next week, Thursday. We took a week, you know, to review all this and come back.
Yeah, do you see light at the end of the tunnel, as they say? Did you hear that?
Well, it's complicated. You know, the entire yes, it's complicated. The Nigerian Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress, will not want the wage increase pegged on any further a review in either PMS or whatever. That's the complicated aspect of it. You know, so, and that's why we want to have a holistic conversation on all this. And then maybe when we meet again, we'll discuss.
Okay, then.
President, there are those who have come up with this argument that the way it is now, that some states are unable to pay so much, and that it should actually be deregulated, that the minimum wage should be deregulated as we have it in America. What is the position of the NLC on this? Would you want to agree to that? And the law permits the Minister of Labour to enforce the minimum wage law. Why is it so difficult to enforce it in our country?
Well, just the minimum wage law, just like any other law in the country, you know, we have had that challenge of enforceability. Enforceability in terms of we are not lacking in the number of laws and good laws. but just the enforcement deduct without remitting. The act criminalized it, just on and on and on. So enforcement has been a problem, especially when it comes to issues that has to do with the people who can't even hire lawyers to defend themselves. But on what you said about the regulation of wages, even in America you mentioned, have a common rule on minimum wage. Minimum wage is that benchmark that you can't pay a citizen of any country. And then when you now look at it, in various regions, maybe state of California or New York, will now go and improve on it. But there is a limit that they can't go below. And that is equally what is obtainable here. The minimum wage is the least they are supposed to pay here. I can tell you that some of the states paying are not paying that $30,000. I will give you an example with Edo State. Edo is paying $40,000, while minimum wage is $30,000. Some other states are paying 35, some are paying 33, some are not paying at all. The problem mainly is usually that of priority. There is no relationship, no correlation between states that are poor, and states that are rich and what they are paying in terms of minimum wage. It depends so much on their priority. If Edo that I cited now is not the richest state in the country. So other dynamics come into it. So we can, because of it, refuse to protect Nigerians, especially when we expect foreigners, to come and invest here. If you watch before now, the 2020 KAMA, they will make provision for companies that are coming in here to register. But now it has lessened it. Companies can come here and start business and pay whatever they like. So that's why we need to equally protect our people, in employment. On the issue of even paying whatever they like, you agree with me that from councillors, local government chairmen, to governors and the members of assembly, senators from states that don't have money, they're earning the same thing. So do we now, deregulate it so that senators from states that don't have money will earn maybe 50,000? Those that come from states that have money will pay maybe 100,000. So I don't think that is the issue. What I think, we need to look at it and see, what is best for our country.
Let's look at the organized private sector, because so much attention is being paid to governors, some of who are simply refusing to pay even the old minimum wage. Are are our friends in the organized private sector prepared to pay from the feelers that you are getting?
Well, the issue of paying minimum wage, even when it was 3,000, there was even more strides in the country to implement it. It has nothing to, even the private sector. However, the report we have before us now from the organized private sector, and I'm talking organized private sector in the real sense of it, I'm not talking of these SMEs, now shows that at least the least paid there today is getting about 78,000. As of today that we are discussing. Now, the issue of we will not be able to pay, we cannot pay, has been there. No employer, classically speaking, comes out to pay, whatever you agree. And I'm not sure they are the worst employers in terms of implementing the previous minimum wages. However, they have other challenges with regards to the ease of doing business. The energy costs, all these other challenges, but even the removal of a subsidy increased the cost of doing business. But relatively speaking, they were equally increasing their margin of their product. If you discover what was sold at 10,000 before, as of now it's sold for 30,000. Now, it is wage that is constant, and it's unacceptable. Assuming it is milk that was 2,000 before and is 6,000 now, the worker who was earning 30,000 before cannot continue to buy that. So as they are increasing the margin of the products that they are producing, the people that should equally buy these products, should be able to buy it. So I don't agree with the concept of having, increase in cost, increase in prices of consumable products, and keeping the wage constant. If you keep wage constant, even those companies and industries will not survive.
Comrade, we thank you for your time. Thank you very much. And that's Comrade Joe Ajaero, President, NLC.